capital raising is going to look very different in 10, 15 years than it does today. And
Mhm.
I believe, I think, and obviously I think have some conviction around that as well, that retirement is going to be a larger part of that. So what are some of those things
Mhm.
that they can start paying attention to as we look at that shift of getting access into some of this capital from a manager perspective? And what are some
Yeah.
of the things they should be thinking about?
Here's one big one that I think just goes unnoticed: inherited retirement accounts.
Hmm.
So when you talk about that 20 to 30 trillion that's going to be, or I don't forget the number you mentioned there, but this amount that's going to be transferring over to the next generation. Just think of your own parents. Just what do they have? What assets do they have? On the typical American that's going to be passing on wealth to the next generation has some equity in a home. Maybe there's a life insurance policy. They keep maintaining it until later in life. And there's probably a retirement account. And you can inherit a retirement account and still invest it for another 10 years now. And so we're seeing a lot more inherited accounts too. We're seeing those continue to grow because
Hmm.
that next generation has been passing along, and their heirs are like getting their retirement account. You can self-direct an inherited retirement account. So I'll bet a large chunk of that wealth passing on to the next generation is retirement accounts. So, and I think for anyone raising money or that's managing assets and needs capital, I think traditionally what they did was they're like, well, let's just go to a big pension fund that'll cut us a $10 million plus check. And we'll just get, because they're active in the alternative asset space. Okay. But typically for smaller fund operators, the pension funds aren't cutting them checks. But it's the same strategy of, why was someone going after the pension funds on an alternative asset, or a private fund? Because that's where the money is. It's also individually in accounts. And sure, you may need to do it at 50, 100, $250,000 at a time, whatever your minimum amount is. But the concept's the same in that this is where the money is. People do view that for the long haul. It's not like they're going to be calling you next year because they want to buy a bigger house or something. Like, they know this money is for the long haul. And I just think it's a very overlooked place to go,
Hmm.
is retirement accounts. And some people are intimidated by it. Some people have some bad information on it. And so they just don't think that people will be interested. But I think it's one, and I've seen it from people we've worked with. We've seen so much success. We see the accounts come through here and what gets invested. I can give you some examples, but we see like significant growing interest in this space. It's the whole reason we got into it ourselves.